Hi friends, got me a new video toy. And hey, I also received a present yesterday. I now have an actual little Sony Handycam, a video camera. So once I figure out how to use it, you might see something besides a wall behind me or this here ring. Okay, so this is called Explore Higher Dimensions Within. Get wise to the inner Nazi, the mind. I guess this kind of looks a bit like a Nazi here. I don't know. Bossy anyway. All right, this is today's journal, 3/29/2011, the first of the day, and the Mayan day is 8 deer or healing hand. So let's start out now. Be in heart. It is interesting here, riding through or between the waves of pain. Not sure it can be done, but I'm game to give it a go. I know how when there is a, excuse me, a physical issue with the body. So often that is or appears to be so limiting. Hard to be transcendent when you're really hurting, for instance, but we shall see. Why be transcendent anyway? Why not just be earthy? I don't know. Just my way, I guess. Maybe it's escapism from living in pain for so long. Anyway, who wouldn't prefer the higher dimensions to the lower ones after all? Although we must prefer them in some pretty important ways or we wouldn't incarnate here. Food for pondering. Right now, the way 3D is and has been for some time, the best thing about it, forgive me, Source, is that we're in the process of transcending it. We've made a pretty thorough exploration of the possibilities for choice and free will within the matrix of materiality. Those two interact. It may even be that you can't have one without the other, free will and 3D. They could be two sides of one coin or something like that. I don't know. It's not clear enough to see yet. At any rate, it's been an interesting trip, but I don't know many who want to continue to operate within this matrix of materiality, of limitation. It's so dense, or so it seems. We've got a great deal of laughter just up ahead, friends. For many, the discovery hasn't been made yet that matter, it doesn't really exist. Not the way that the mind supposes, at least. It just isn't there. All atoms are 99.99999% absent. They're not present at all. Go figure. So, what does that mean? Heck, I don't know. But I'm having a great time exploring it. Of that you can be sure. And you can have some fun with it too. Just clear out the old belief systems buried within. Those ones that tell you what you think, what you believe is the way that it is. That is reality. My friends, I promise it isn't. Make room for that. That's your assignment if you choose to take it. Just take that in. Matter isn't really there. I'll put another link to the Primacy of Consciousness video in here, and that will show you. It will take the scientific route and show you matter doesn't really exist. You've got science to back you up on this one, and that's a bone thrown out there to the mind. It's even from science that we've taken our cue, the 99% thing. Solid science there. Open up to it. For many scientists, that doesn't work. They don't get or see the implications. They just look away. It's likely because they hold to their belief systems so very tightly. None compels. Each one reigns sovereign, at least within their own being. You choose what to believe. A truly exciting new field for 3D science, not that we'll be here much longer to pursue it, would be the study of the power of belief. We could start with the foundation already laid by the placebo effect. Right now, consciousness studies, what few there are, don't really seem aware of the power of individual beliefs overall. They don't realize that these are what constructs the individual reality. They are the bricks of which it is made. We've got people still believing in the external reality of things. But anyway, that's too fuzzy for my mood right now. Let's stick to what is solidly real. Atoms are empty. They are not really there. The corollary, if you would truly get into the experience of this, is that all belief to the contrary must be suspended or abandoned. Only then can you enter into a fuller experience. Just the way that it is. Be sure to be in heart with this. Remember, mind is too limited for this sort of trip. It just gets in the way. Now, many have heard me say that the calculation's been done. The solid substance of the human body fits into a thimble with room to spare. We're not really solid at all. I don't care how it seems. Let go of the seeming, of the level of seeming, of appearances. That's just the mind's doing. The mind is quite powerful in its own sphere, and its sphere is matter. Its sphere is 3D. Well, let's go higher. When you enter heart, you automatically have entered higher dimensions. That's one way of looking at it, and that's available to you there. You shed the boundaries, the strictures that tie you to earth. You can soar and fly free here. You've a perfectly able thinking capacity within. It just works terribly differently. It functions through heart, not through head. Head's rules and ideas just don't apply here. It's the one who can shed her old beliefs best who goes farthest here. Give it a try. Suspend belief, even just for a while. Atoms are empty. Make room for that. Things can't possibly be solid. We have the proof for this. Forget the seeming for a while. Just let it go. Come on, you can do it. Don't let the Nazi of the mind interfere with your journey. Give it a dunce cap and put it over there in the corner. Tell it to hush. And now, simply ignore it. Atoms are empty. Are you ready to explore that? Can you open up to the implications that are there? Can you let go of all fear? Fear will come up at some point as you set out on this journey. It's entirely too strange. Well, be observant. What you will see is that is mind at work. It is mind that's fearing. That's the source of all fear. It is just mind's rules that are being broken here. That is all. This is nothing to the heart. Heart has no problems with it. To heart, it's a joy. Just the way that things really are, seen from higher dimensions. Well, perhaps that's the secret. I don't really know. What does mind fear? Well, we won't go too far into this. It's a bit boring to some, but first and foremost, mind fears to be wrong. Mind to itself must always be right. This is what drives the mind. Its world isn't in order unless it understands things, or at least believes that it does. That's what the mind craves. Not knowing really throws it off balance. It wants to enter in and do something about that. Take control, fix the situation, punch someone's lights out, whatever. Figure out what is wrong, what is right. Mind is forever active. As the observer, though, you can put mind in the back seat. You need no longer take the back seat to the mind, no longer let it drive while you just watch. Begin to recognize the endless ways mind is in control in your life. No need to do anything to fix that. Observing is enough for now. You will see. Soon, it'll be fixing itself. See if I'm wrong. Test it out. You just know that you are the being. You have a mind. You are not the mind. It's just a tool you've been given. Everyone has let mind take control, though. That's a big part of why the world's in the shape that it's in. Mind is in charge. Everywhere you look, mind is full of beliefs. Well, the beliefs actually control the mind. They're the hidden part of mind's power over each life. Mind stores the beliefs in the sub and the unconscious, and then uses those to create, manipulate, and control or contort the person's reality. And people, being so identified with their minds, don't recognize how they're manipulated. They think they're in control because they've identified with mind. They don't recognize the Nazi commandant resident in each mind until it's kicked out. But that's for later. That's for later. It can be quite subtle until it's discovered and challenged. See how subtle it is then. Be on the watch for the fuss, the endless objections mind will kick up to this trip we're on. It's power hungry. It thinks it's the king, gets to run things, doesn't believe anyone or anything else is more competent, more able to do this. My advice, just observe. Keep watching quietly. Don't try to change anything. Just watch to get the lay of the land. Plus, in this watching, you are settling into heart. At least that's the opportunity here, and it's a big one. Sometimes you'll find yourself watching from the perspective of mind, but that doesn't work so well. Your internal guidance system is resident in heart. That's where the still small voice abides. A heart is home of discernment, of intuition. You'll be amazed at what happens as you just quietly observe. Your intuitive powers will be juiced. It starts out with revelations. Internal understandings are given. You just suddenly know. You see things that, though they were there all along, they were never seen, not while you were active in and with the mind. They couldn't be seen from that perspective. This becomes clearer eventually. So the understandings just arise. Who knows where they come from? Don't get into that. That will take you into mind. That's just a trap. Just be with what is. You're alert. You're observing, watching the mind at work in ways that seem little at the outset. You see into its operations. Slowly, or maybe quickly at times, you see how what you thought were little things, well, they aren't so little after all. They have bigger implications. They're the thread of a larger cloth. Things get revealed to you. You may begin to recognize through the revelations that you have an inner tutor or teacher in there. Don't look for a person or a being. Don't personalize it. Just let it be amorphous. Looking for the person or being is, again, falling back into mind. You're looking for causes. Do you see? Mind trying to make sense of this. So just keep watching. Watching the self. Watch the judgments made by the self. Don't try to change or alter them. Just observe. Merely watch. That's the assignment for now. And you'll know within when it's your time to move on from this. It may be a good while, though. This is fertile, fruitful ground for much growth. Now, in a way, it will be seen as growth, and it will be, but in another way, all it is a letting go. We're seeing and eventually shedding beliefs. This is much more a deconstruction than a construction. So there's a tidbit for mind. Letting go, being empty. These are useful now, handy tools. 2 phrases, finally, that will come in handy are, I don't know, and it is what it is. Remember, you don't always have to solve things to understand. See that that is just mind at work, and just let it go. Be content, my friends, not to know. Oh, and be sure to have a good time. Well, why not? Blessings abundant to you. You'll find them strewn all around. Be in heart.